Hi, I'm Tyson Bankert.
Hello, I'm Deborah Sword.
I have a question for you, Deborah. We've heard a lot of conversation about alternative facts these days, hey? And whose facts are right? Which data points did you see? Um, and I think for me, there's always this sort of underlying question of like, well, how does that person feel about it? Like, what are the feelings behind those facts? And I think that for me, a frustration I've had is why do we oftentimes come with the facts when really we should just be coming with how we feel? Because that's actually what informs the facts so often. But then we think the fact should be the thing that helps with the conflict. When in reality, it's how do we actually manage the feelings?
And that's a great question. Sometimes it's both facts and feelings.
Hmm.
Sometimes it's not a binary, it's something
Right.
else entirely.
Hmm.
And there are times, particularly where there's a scientific basis, where there is a right answer. Wicked questions are often the root of conflict, and a wicked question is designed as one that has no easy answer. You can collect all the facts, all the
Hmm.
data that in the whole universe, and you still have to interpret it. So my thesis supervisor always said, facts do not speak for themselves.
Hmm.
Facts
Hmm.
must be interpreted.
Hmm. Hmm.
The interpretation is informed by your worldview, your beliefs, your mindset, your ability to look at it from different perspectives. There's CEOs who want to have in the room somebody who argues with them so that there's nothing that gets missed. So if I'm the decision maker, I want to be challenged so that I don't make a mistake.
Hmm. Hmm.
But even if you're challenged, you might still make a mistake. You won't know until the future when you see the consequences of the decision. In conflict, if you're arguing facts, there's a belief that you have the fact and then how you feel about it. I'm going to suggest that how you feel about it
Hmm.
is how you select the facts you want to believe.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think that takes a level of conflict competency or awareness to be able to know how what facts I'm choosing is very much based on how I'm feeling. And I mean, even if you think about in arguments, right, or in conversations with folks, you are choosing things that have happened maybe in the past as examples that help enable how that person has made you feel. And the other person might come with their own facts about, and it kind of, but once again, it's being able to say, that the tension isn't necessarily about, well, the fact that you're bringing, well, this is how it really happened or how I feel. It's actually about, like, can we just talk about those feelings, being super clear about how to help convey the feelings versus the fact of something that had happened. But to your point, you said, and what I really appreciate what you said is, it's yes and.
Yeah, it's both. Here's the fact, and I believe it because
Hmm. Hmm.
this is my prior belief. So there was a podcast episode we talked about prior belief, false belief. A false belief is something you believed that was never true.
Hmm.
And I think I said to you, um, sorry, the tooth fairy really does not exist, never has.
Right.
If you believe, Santa Claus,
Hmm.
sorry, Virginia,
Hmm. Hmm.
there is no Santa Claus. It's a false belief, but it's one that as a child you were encouraged to have. A prior belief is one that might have been true at one time, but is no longer true.
Hmm. Hmm.
I can't ride a bicycle used to be true. But if
Hmm.
I still hold to that belief, I'm going to miss out on an awful lot of happy cycling.
Right. Right.
How we feel about a fact is informed by our position, our identity. It's gendered. I might believe that something is unsafe, whereas my 6'2" partner
Hmm.
might feel perfectly comfortable walking down that dark alley. And I'm looking at it and saying, I don't think so.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
I'll meet you at the other end.
Hmm. Hmm. It makes me think about when we have feelings. that are oftentimes also we talked about the last couple of weeks about being able to practice and manage our feelings. And I think so often when we are able to help to explore how we're feeling when it comes to a conflict and be able to really have that self-reflection and rely on some of those competencies that we so often talk about, it actually can also regulate and then help us distinguish the facts as well of like, oh, is that actually true? Am I bringing that fact in when it really isn't something that I can rely on? And I think it allows for us to be able to address that the emotional maybe hurt or need versus just relying on, well, this happened 3 years ago and I'm bringing it up now.
Very true. And the other caution is uh, that the fact I'm relying on may not be a universal truth.
Mm.
So if I'm saying, I believe that this particular war is justified, whichever war, pick a war, it's justified. It may be that I have certain facts to support that belief.
Mm-hmm.
But then if I examine the belief, I can say, and I believe it because I'm afraid. I believe it because I had this experience.
Mm-hmm.
But when it's pointed out that there are civilians who are being hurt in that war, who are not part of the regime you're trying to disrupt or change. Oh, yeah, they're collateral damage.
Mm-hmm.
Well, do you feel bad about that? Yeah, I guess I do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now let's talk about the war from that perspective.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, to treat it as one thing and a universal truth may not be the whole story of every fact.
Mm-hmm.
But I believe that about this war because of the feeling and the emotion I have about my identity, my location, my security in the world.
Mm-hmm. It makes me think so often about being able to understand, that we can't all have one lived experience, and that so many often of us, it's way to make things sort of simpler is to have everyone have the same experience, when really that's never actually the case. But it lends itself to conflict and big and small. And I think that being able to have opportunities to practice conflict helps us actually become, I think, more fuller, more emotionally regulated human beings. Actually, with maybe some really better facts.
Or facts that we can support in
Yeah,
different
totally.
ways
Yeah. Yeah.
with more empathy.
Hmm. Hmm. Great. Well, Deborah, once again, great conversation. Please like, share, and subscribe, and we will see you all next week.
Thank you.